I mean, he had to watch it last night with us. He came over to have a nice, mellow evening with his girlfriend, I guess. Sure hope the mics weren't live, but now they are.
They
so
were totally
welcome. Oh, great. So welcome everybody to the Infernal Brotherhood of the Scruffy Looking Nerf Herders. This is in fact a live streaming YouTube Star Wars video podcast by Star Wars fans for Star Wars fans. And today we're going to bring you what we like about The Last Jedi.
It's not a big list.
It's, I mean, I
Locked up rather than tell your list. William, thanks for joining live. How you doing, man? Carlos, thank you so much for joining live. Appreciate you. We just did another stream and it had no issues, and now of course we go live on this. And we're gonna have to fight, Carlos. You and me, Donald Duck style. It is actually. Like, there's some genuinely beautiful scenes in this film. I just didn't like the story. But that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about what we loved about it. Or at least liked. So, if if my co-host ever shows back up, we'll get into it. Let me do this. Because I don't know if we did the intro before it froze up, did it? Today we're going to share what we like about the sequel trilogy, continuing with The Last Jedi. We already did The Force Awakens, and so if you have not seen that episode, I highly recommend you check that out because it was a lot of fun. And I think The Force Awakens was the least divisive of all of the sequel trilogy films. It was just sort of like a promise of something new, and so we didn't really know where it was going to go or anything. You guys can hear that, right?
okay.
Welcome.
I think I'm back.
Skype.
Jesus Christ. That was going perfectly fine, and then Skype's just like, nope.
We're not doing it. I'm not going to let you do it.
God damn it. We are going to do this. We said we're going to, and we're going to do it. I had to sit through that fucking movie last night, albeit it was pretty fun because, as you guys probably heard from the banter before we started, I got the pleasure of watching it last night with somebody that's never seen this movie. And unfortunately, fortunately for him, I may or may not have been drinking last night.
Oh,
so
man. I bet that was a pleasant experience.
He got quite the commentary. I mean, he was laughing a lot, so that means something.
He's like, I would have enjoyed this if you would have shut your pie hole.
Yeah. Well, and then the funny thing is fucking Janice spoiling shit for him.
No, really?
It's like,
No.
what the fuck?
Had he seen The Force Awakens?
This movie or remember this movie? How are you going to be spoiling this movie for someone else? What the fuck?
Did he see The Force Awakens before?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so he
hadn't seen, I believe he hadn't seen this or The Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah. I agree with you, Carlos, for sure. I thought that Luke versus Kylo scene was beautiful. Like, visuals.
It was.
Beautiful.
And the idea of it was fantastic.
Yeah, 100%.
It should have drug on a little bit longer.
Yeah, there's just some things. I mean, but again, this episode is not, because we've already spoken ad nauseum about why we don't like it. So we're going to focus on the bright side.
Hell yeah, we are.
Always look on the bright side of life. So the log line is the Star Wars saga continues as new heroes and galactic legends go on an epic adventure, unlocking mysteries of the Force and shocking revelations of the past. I don't remember any of those.
Yeah.
Unlocking mysteries of the Force and shocking revelations of the past?
Yeah, not really anything new.
Don't know what they're referring to, but
or shocking. Yeah.
I remember going back to the theater a number of times because I'm like, this is Star Wars, hence I must love it. So I'm missing something that everyone else is understanding.
Yeah.
And I still have yet to figure it out.
That is true. Okay. So I will say one thing, and this was because I was watching it with my friend Crystal. I never put two and two together that the whole dumb scene, or sorry, not talking shit because we like this episode or something. The whole scene where she fell into the butthole and the mirror world.
I like the Dark Nexus.
I always thought it was stupid that she was
butthole?
narrating it. Like, I had no fucking clue why she was narrating it.
Right.
And it wasn't until she explained, she's like, because that's a flashback with Kylo Ren. And it's like, how does that a flashback? And then it's over, and I'm like, oh, that was a flashback. Okay.
Yeah.
It's like, at least that makes sense now. So that's one last thing to not like. Or one less, whatever. Yeah, that was right.
The butthole now? That's like recontextualizes the whole thing of her falling in it and oy vey. All the stinky places to find
yourself.
yourself.
A big old pool of impula. Ugh.
Evil butthole. All right, so this was written and directed by Rian Johnson. It followed up on the J.J. Abrams, who helped him with that? Oh, it was on the tip of my tongue. Anyway, it followed up on literally episode 1. This is episode 2, and it threw tons of stuff just out in the wind. Said, you know what, you set this stuff up, J.J. Abrams. I don't care. I'm doing my thing, and boy, did he.
Yeah. Well, and it's a
100%.
shame, too, because he did do what the fans wanted, in a sense. He gave us all something new. Because that was like the biggest gripe that... I mean, not us. Like, I don't give a fuck. I thought The Force Awakens was fun. I really liked it. But a lot of people were bitching about, oh, it's the same fucking story. And it's like, yeah, prequels were the same fucking story as the OG trilogy. I don't fucking care.
But my argument is that he didn't do anything new. He literally stole exactly beat for beat Empire and Jedi. Like there's literally nothing new in that entire film, because it was all ripped off from Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, mashed together, and then throwing on some like sort of, twists that were supposed to be innovative and thought-provoking, but ended up just being nonsensical. But again, that's not what we're here to talk about.
No, god damn it.
Damn it.
Talk about
I can't help it. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. So this was released December 9th, 2017. It had a budget of $200 to $317 million, and it brought in $1.3 billion with a B. And I'm convinced that's because many people like me went back to it multiple times trying to figure out what we missed.
100%. I saw it, I think, like 3 times in theaters.
Oh, really?
Out of all the new Star Wars films, like since Episode 7, this was the one that I saw the least amount of times in theaters. Like everything else, I saw at least like 5 or 6 times.
Oh, wow.
Fucking Rogue One, I saw twice in one night.
It was so good. It was
but
so
yeah,
good.
This one, it was like, I went opening night, was super excited. I walked out like, I should probably go see this tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then it's just progressively gotten more like, why?
Carlos says, you guys are going to kill me, but I think The Last Jedi has aged better than The Force Awakens. Dude, that's cool, man. If you dig it, that's awesome.
So here's the thing. I will say this. Initially, and it's probably in one of the fucking reviews, even like the initial thought videos, I fucking hated Rose. I thought she was a waste of a character. Not that... Okay, sorry. Let me rephrase that. She wasn't a waste of a character. She was a character that could have been really good, that just kind of got thrown into the mix, and there was no real concern for her. But one of my notes is that I actually like her with his last viewing. I still don't agree with the scene on Crate where she bumps into Finn. I think that's stupid as fuck.
That's a nice way of saying it. She bumps into him.
Yeah, like it's stupid as hell. I don't agree with that, but all in all, like I actually do like her, and I think that's because I've had some separation from the last time I watched it with this. So I'll give you that it does age a little bit better, but I don't know, man. I will say this is probably the least angry I've been watching this movie since it came out. With this
it's weird because there's like whenever I reflect on any Star Wars film after the prequels came out, so the sequel trilogy, I always like mentally do this gymnastics of separating the actor from the character from the writing for the character. And I think that's because I started doing that unconsciously with the prequel series, with the bad writing that George made, that he wrote. And he admits that he's a terrible writer, and it's true. He's not good at dialogue. And And so I had to sort of do that sort of mental gymnastics for the prequel trilogy because I do genuinely love them, even though I know they're deeply, deeply flawed films. And so watching this, I do that separation where I think Kelly Marie Tran did a great job with the character she was given. I think the character is a good idea. I think the execution, the writing for the character was what left them flat. And then, of course, the rabid Star Wars fan base is just a bunch of assholes, and so we tore them up. Colloquially, I didn't because I don't care that much.
Yeah, that's stupid as shit.
But again, so let's talk about some of the initial, like, let's just sort of go back and forth. Like, what's your favorite? And then we'll just sort of go down our lists, as it were, of what, after sitting down and watching this, what we thought were the best things that we really enjoyed about this. And then if we have, similar ones that are the same, then we'll just sort of, X those out and we'll move on to the next ones. But you want to start us off?
So I'm counting on my list right now. 4 of the things, it's notes on the porgs.
Are you kidding me?
I don't give a shit. I love the porgs.
Oh my gosh.
It's one of those things, just like BB-8. I wanted to fucking hate when they came out. Like when I first saw BB-8, like the teaser of them showing him rolling around Celebration or whatever. I'm like, I'm not gonna fucking like you.
That was great.
Harumph. And then, of course, 5 seconds into the fucking movie, when he's rolling around on that one planet, it's like, oh my god, he's so awesome. I love him. It's how I'm with porgs. Like when I first saw the trailers, saw him, I'm like, god damn it, another cute animal. Ooh.
Yeah.
And then that first what? It's like, I fucking would die for them.
Oh, it's the worst. There's like it doesn't even look like a bird. That's what bothers me. Is like those crystal wolves. They look like creatures. I mean, in Canto Bight, I don't really like all of the new creatures they developed for that, but the handful of them are brilliantly created. Practical effects, and they look like real alien creatures, and it's not like weird stuff. But the porgs always look super fake and super dumb, and especially like the cooked version, it's like a Lego. It's not even. It's not even like an animal. It's like a Lego of a roast beast or something.
No, it's because Chewie's just a magical fucking chef, dude. Like, I feel like you're not giving him enough credit.
It's like French. What is that called? The French cut on the
that shit
bones?
Together.
So
he's got it all.
And then he didn't even eat it. He didn't even eat it. He's a Wookiee. He should be clawing each one of those bitches. Tear him apart with his teeth. And then it shows that stupid one with his like big bright eyes, like trying to reach into your heartstrings, and all I wanted to do was shoot it in the face.
That was my second note.
Oh my god!
The sad face porg is my favorite part.
Are you kidding?
The movie, because apparently at that point I was already drunk and misspelled of.
Oh man!
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Well, okay, so a little behind the scenes baseball. I grew up the generation of like the first people to play Pokemon. So I just accept weird mashups of creatures and go like, yeah, obviously I love that thing. So I accepted the porgs. Because like all of those animals looked like they could have just been Pokemon from a different region.
Okay. I'll buy it. My first note was the soundtrack. I thought the music of this, because there's a lot of original music. Of course, they recycle some themes because some characters, of course, and of course it's Star Wars. But I really love the music of this whole film. It felt really natural and nice, and instead of detracting from what was on the scene, it actually enhanced it and made it better. Even when I didn't enjoy what I was watching, I enjoyed the score behind it. And that says a lot when you can, I mean, it arguably says a lot that you have to separate what you're seeing versus what you're hearing, but it just made my enjoyment all that much better. So I thought,
yeah, I mean,
John
Williams is
John Williams,
fucking magician. So
amazing. He's great.
Anything he does is gold.
And I hope he's not done. I just hope he keeps going until, I mean, arguably, let's just make him a vampire so he can always keep going.
Fucking done.
If we can take What We Do in the Shadows and Star Wars and just do a little bit of that. Laszlo would be down.
You wouldn't necessarily want him to become one of like the Anne Rice type of vampires because they're way too serious.
Yeah.
I love that vampire shit. Like, I fucking love it. But yeah, it's just too serious.
Yeah.
Gotta be wacky.
Yeah. John Williams, figure it out, man. Stay with us. Stay with us.
You are a fucking national treasure, sir.
And ever. All right, so what was your next note?
All right, so the Dreadnought was cool.
Oh
I
that
I
was.
really did like the Dreadnought. And I got sort of a different experience with it initially. I have a buddy that puts in for all kinds of contests and shit, and he's like the luckiest motherfucker I know, and he gets random things. So T-Mobile, I think it was, or some shit, they were doing a promotion when the movie first came out that you could actually get like a hand-built scale model of a Dreadnought.
What?
There was one made, and yeah, he fucking won it and brought
What?
it by. So I got to actually look at the son of a bitch,
That's amazing.
like all the details and shit. It's just so fucking cool, and the idea of the power behind it. I mean, I know we're supposed to be talking about things that we like, but I will say the power of the Dreadnought, like the actual cannons, it didn't do justice to what it actually can do. Like the visuals of it, just like it's basically like a quarter of a Death Star, those weapons. And I didn't really get that.
I bought into it like 100%.
But I loved it. I thought that was cool as shit.
Yeah, I thought it was great. The only thing that frustrated me about, never mind, I'm not going to go down that road. I thought the Dreadnoughts were awesome too, 100%. I thought it was great. But along the exact same lines, watching that opening sequence, it just like the space battles with like dogfighting and stuff. It's always amazing in Star Wars, and it just carried through again in this one at the beginning. That initial space combat, not the jokey jokes beforehand, or the sort of Battlestar Galactica chase scene afterward, but just like the when Poe Dameron literally made the worst decision ever to continue battling the Dreadnought and lost the entire bombing fleet. Seeing that battle, I thought was brilliant. And then my next one is sort of follow up to this, but let's go to your next one.
All right, so let's see. The next thing I got, BB-8 is cool as always. I just love how much of a badass he is. He's like, fuck.
I thought it was so stupid. I didn't like that at all.
And then he just like, fuck it. I'll create the circuit with my head. Pop.
Oh god.
It's like I can appreciate that because I've been there with that kind of mentality. Like trying to fix something and then you just have to headbutt it. I've been there.
Okay.
I've been there.
All right. Respect. Yeah, I mean that exact same sequence. My next note was the personal sacrifice during wartime. Seeing Rose's sister, I can't remember her name for the life of me right now. But she was, she was just the gunner. She wasn't the pilot. She wasn't supposed to be in charge of dropping the bombs, but then she realized she's the only person left. And so she has to do this. She knows she's going to die. And the only thing she can think of is, I have to finish the job. I have to do what my compatriots couldn't do because they were murdered by the First Order. And it's just, everyone else is dead around me. There's literally flames, which doesn't make sense in space, all around me. I'm going to die and I have to finish this. And that sense of personal sacrifice, though I don't personally share the urge for it, for whatever reason, I mad respect wartime stories where people are like, you go, I'll hold them off. And they just sort of sacrifice themselves. They are the legitimate hero of the moment. And she stepped up and she became the hero of the moment. And I thought it was just brilliant. I loved it. And it's, another reason why I think I didn't hate Holdo as much as some people did, because she did the exact same thing. She stayed behind and she's like, look, you guys, this is your only chance and someone has to do this. I'm going to step up and do it. And period. And I don't know. I like it.
Yeah. Well, and I feel like part of Holdo's problem is the same problem with Rose. It was a new character that they tried to just like throw in the mix immediately, with no like character building. Like just no, this is the new character. You fucking love them. Which I mean, it's literally like that when Leia's down. Chain of command. Fuck Poe Dameron. Yeah, this guy. She's been here for some reason for a long time, and we've never seen her. She's in charge now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like her, especially after the Leia book, like getting to know how far those two go back and just how much of a badass she is.
Yeah.
Like I was explaining it to the people I was watching it with last night. It's like she's pretty much the Luna Lovegood of the Star Wars series. Like she's fucking dope.
I don't even know that reference.
It's Harry Potter.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. What's your next?
And with that, explosions are fun.
Is that really your next?
You can see it. It's somewhere in there.
Left is right.
Explosions are
Explosions
fun.
are fun. Right.
Yeah. That's the thing. Like, a lot of it didn't make sense, but I'm not going to say anything about it. But the fact that just everything was fucking blowing up was great. Like, the fact that anything survived that whole that little bit of a dogfight is amazing. But yeah, it was a lot of bombs, a lot of fire. Gotta love it.
Yeah. I always love the way that, and this is probably why I love Event Horizon so much, is because it reintroduced a way that flames in space would really be. It would just be liquid fire rolling toward you. It wouldn't be like burning flames, you know? There's no atmosphere for it. So it's literally just a contained wave of energy.
Yeah.
And I've always loved that idea ever since seeing Event Horizon originally in the theater. And so whenever I see Star Wars now, I'm like, you need Event Horizon this shit. Because it wouldn't detract at all. It would actually make it better. And then you wouldn't have Neil deGrasse Tyson talking shit about it on Twitter afterward, which he did deeply. I mean, he does it for every film, but...
Yeah, people got a bitch. It's like, you know what, we're in space. Aliens fighting aliens over a cosmic force that can move rocks. Like, I think we got to kind of give it a little bit of leeway.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's like, I'll argue the fuck out of it. Like those explosions, like how everything's going out. It's like, I mean, of course, all the pressure in the atmosphere in the vessel is going out. So yeah, why wouldn't the flames be like that too? Yeah.
Okay.
It's trying to make logic.
Explosions are good though. I concur 100%.
Yes.
My next was the set pieces and locations. I thought they're brilliant. Like they're just beautiful. They put so much time and effort, and this is what I love about Star Wars, you know, over some other IPs, is they really put in the time and effort to develop out these locations to make it tactile and aged and just brilliant. You know, the prequels are the exception, but then you have to sort of look at it, what George was trying to do with technology and pushing forward filmmaking. And so I forgive it for that, because he literally like re-energized the entire...
She agrees. She agrees.
My dog is freaking out. Someone came to the house and murdering my family while we're doing this.
They'll be fine.
Would it? I don't think that.
No, I said they'll be fine.
Oh, okay.
Nah, come on, your dog's fucking...
You're like, that,
shit.
It's fine.
And if your dogs wouldn't do some shit, chickens would.
Yeah, that's true. The show must go on. I can't think of one set piece where I wasn't like, that's beautiful. Just because it's the mix of the like literal places, you know, like the island of Octu or whatever it was, with the physical set piece of the, you know, the ancient temples and stuff. I don't know. It was just brilliant. I loved all of it. And then the interaction with the environments I thought was really, really awesome. You know, the whole Canto Bight sequence I have issues with, but I love the concept behind this sort of ultra wealthy resort where they have all sorts of casino-like betting arenas and pleasure domes, and that aspect of it. I really like the tactile nature of it and stuff. So yeah, the set pieces were my next one.
Even for me, like the idea of what message they were trying to get across, even when, like at the very end before DJ picks them up, and Rose is like, there, now it was worth it because they at least released the animals and shit. It's like they didn't make a difference. That shit's all gonna be fixed.
They're gonna be catching
But god
them
damn it, they fucking gave that giant a paper cut, and that giant's not gonna forget that paper cut. And that's a big fucking deal. Like, especially growing up an angry little punk rocker, like that was my whole mentality growing up. Is like, I want to make that much of a difference. That fucking giant gets a paper cut on their finger and they're inconvenienced for a little bit.
Yeah.
Because at least I did something.
Yeah. Yeah, I can respect that. What's your next one?
All right, so one of the ones I already talked about. I fucking love the Porgs. I don't care. I will not apologize for it. I think they're adorable. I have one that I used to keep in my car.
Really?
Like my old car, but It was one of the little suction cup ones. Had him in the back corner. The sticker in the back said Porg on board. Don't care. I fucking love the Porgs. They're just fun.
Do you want to do another one since we already sort of talked about Porgs? Or?
Yeah, okay. So then when we get to the first like actual physical visuals of Snoke, like that's just stunning. That's straight up like a perfect mixture of THX 1138 feels mixed with Flash Gordon feels. It's just like that's a stunning chamber. And just like the whole idea of everything going on was so beautiful, and I loved it.
Yeah. Snoke was always really, really a cool concept until the end.
Yeah.
Until the next film.
Yeah,
but
we won't talk about it.
Yep.
But yeah, like up until the fact that or the point in time when he dies, it's cool. Even the Praetorian guards, like out of in this whole last trilogy, if I had just unlimited means to make a costume, it would be one of the Praetorian guards. Like I
really
fucking love the look of it. Yeah, either that or a Sith trooper, because I mean, realistically, like the fucking Sith
I like
trooper.
those more than the Praetorian. They're very similar, but yeah, I think I like those more. They're a little more like the Bram Stoker Dracula armor look.
That's why I love it.
Yeah, which is dope.
Yeah.
So my next one was Kylo Ren. I thought, that first one, he was very Luke Skywalker farm boy, just sort of whiny and complaining and emo and stuff, which that those are the Skywalkers. What are you going to do? That's what they're like. In this one, he was still that, but there is another element of him taking control of his own destiny, which I really liked, and just him sort of coming into his own. And this promise that he's going to be like his grandfather, where there's this element of light in him that he hasn't fully squashed. Playing, it's always that trouble, and arguably it's the entire theme of this film is balance. You have to have balance. Snoke says outright that as you were gaining in strength, Kylo, the Force had to react in order to maintain balance, and so Rey came in, and that's why she's so powerful. To try to explain it, she rose with the light in order to make that harmony of balance in the galaxy. And I don't necessarily like that idea, but I do like how Kylo Ren has evolved and grown, and the dynamic that he and Rey had in this film I really enjoyed. They weren't in control of that connection that they were having, and it just sort of, they were just experiencing it together. And those moments where he's like, "Can you see my surroundings? Because I can't see yours." It's like, it's almost like playing houses like little kids, with your neighbor kids, friends and stuff, where you don't really know what's going on, but you're just sort of coming into your own through the experience. Yeah. I really like that aspect of it.
Well, and it definitely did make it real, because I mean, that's the kind of shit that if I was experiencing something like that after the initial shock of like, what the fuck is going on, that's gonna be the first thing I ask. Like, can you see what the fuck's going on?
Yeah.
You can't smell that, can you?
No, I just dropped a deuce. There's no way you can smell it, right? Because I'm sorry if you can't.
And that's the thing, like, definitely in the first movie, he's just, he's a fucking Skywalker. He's anger, rage, force. And in this, like, he's still that little emo boy, but instead of just, like, childish emotions, like, you can actually see the pain and turmoil in his eyes. Yeah. And he acts it out so well that he's not just being a whiny bitch because he's not getting his way. He's having a severe internal conflict of like, I understand what I need to do. I have done what I can to reach the point where I'm supposed to be, but I'm still not there for some reason. And how the fuck do I get past that or just completely bypass it? And
Adam Driver is such an interesting looking person too.
Yeah, and he's a fantastic actor. Like, I'll definitely give him that. Like, I can't think of anything I've seen him in that I didn't like.
Yeah. Yeah, he's just, whatever it is, like, he's able to pull it off. And yeah, I thought he was really great. What was your next one? Your next.
Alrighty, so going down the list. So his chamber was cool. Snoke's flagship is cool as shit. I mean, that just goes without saying. Like, that's just dope. I don't care. Just always make them bigger. Why not?
And, I
Awesome.
mean, it even had a different shape on this one, though. You know, it was very boomerang-like.
Oh yeah, yeah, it
in
was
its shape.
straight up fucking bomber. It was dope. I mean, other than that, let's see. I already went over this. The sad face porg is my favorite part of the movie. So then when we get into Luke finally accepting that Rey's not going anywhere and he needs to do something about her, I fucking love that scene. I know it's stupid and it's campy, but I love the scene where he's got her out on the stone and is like, you know, reach out, tell me what.
Yeah.
And then he fucking smacks her hand like a bad child. I love that. Like,
actually makes me break out in hives thinking about it.
I mean, to be honest, I had to really dig for things that I liked about this movie, but I like it because it's so stupid and it was so obvious that was going to happen. And then they do it and it's like, oh, okay, I guess I'll laugh now.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just like, yeah, I'm not even going to get into it. Okay. So my next one was connected to that. It's moments of Luke Skywalker. There's just these sort of vignettes of the old Luke that are just brilliant. There's that moment where Rey is sort of following him around, trying to convince him to teach her or at least come back to the Resistance with her. And, you know, he does the horrible milking scene. But then after that, he does like this fishing scene where he gets this huge pole and he goes, you know, sort of vaults over to the other side. And she's like, be careful. And he just sort of gives her that look like, I'm Luke fucking Skywalker, bitch.
Right.
Like, who are you talking to? And then he like stabs a fish. And the next scene, he's like hiking it up to cook it and eat it. I was just like, man, that is Luke Skywalker. I love that so much. He's just so self-sufficient and just fully realized in himself. And I don't always like the directions that this film took him, but I like seeing like these moments of the sort of curmudgeonly old version of a Luke Skywalker. And I even got to the point, this Skywalker's got skills. I got to the point where when it was Luke talking, like confessing that he did think about murdering Kylo Ben, and he said, like straight up, it was a fleeting moment that I immediately regretted and had consequences for. You know what? All the times I saw it in the theater, I didn't focus on that aspect. I focused on the act itself of him trying to kill this little boy. And I was like, that is not fucking Luke. Luke would not do that. As a parent, I know there's moments where you just feel overwhelmed. You're just like, I can't handle what's happening now, and I don't know how to react. I don't know how to deal with this. And you have these weird, crazy, insane human thoughts that pop in your mind. And it's normal and it's natural and it just happens. You don't want it to happen and you feel horrible after it does. And so this, for the first time, I actually understood his emotions in the moment and the shame and embarrassment and just the refusal to believe that he even went there in the first place. For the first time, I connected with it. And it doesn't fix the film for me, but it does at least make me understand it a little bit more. Yeah. You know, the concept behind it. So, I don't know. Luke was my next one. I thought there's moments of Luke that were just like, wow.
Well, and the other great thing about the fishing scene is, like, once you realize that he's completely cut himself off from the Force, like, he just fucking did that of his own accord. Like, he's not having any Force abilities. That ledge is, like, this fucking big.
Yeah.
Like, he just did that because he's a badass. Like, it is pretty impressive.
He's such I fucking love Luke. And I found myself getting emotional. I mean, I did too the first time, but there's, you know, I grew up with Luke Skywalker as my hero. I wanted to be Luke Skywalker. Luke Skywalker in Return of the Jedi is my favorite version of the character. And it is just like, he's the ultimate badass who is doing his best to do good in a really crazy galaxy. Yeah. And sometimes he does bad, but he tries, you know, and he has the best of intentions of, you know, he looks into the human condition and then he sees the light inside of you, even though it seems there is no light to be found in this case of Darth Vader, for example. That hope-filled hero, I idolized. Like, I wanted him to be real so desperately bad, because to have someone like that in our insane, horrible, just depressing fucking world would make a huge difference. you know? And so like reliving that and getting this weird nostalgia feel in specific scenes and in small moments, I found and especially at the very end, it just hit me emotionally again. I was just like, God damn it, what is it about this fucking character that pulls me in every time? And I just feel so connected to him. And it's equally why I get frustrated with the film as well. Chris, thanks for joining live. Good to see you, man.
That is the biggest thing. It's not that we don't like you, Last Jedi. It's that we're disappointed in you.
Yeah.
Because, like, really, like, Luke is who everybody wants to grow up to be. Like, period. I mean, Han Solo's fucking dope. Lando Calrissian's awesome. But, like, really, it was Luke. You always want to grow up to be a Luke. And then we get grown-up Luke. And we see those little hints of what we thought he would be at this point. But then other scenes happen, and it's like, oh, come on.
Yeah, and it's brought even down lower by the fact that he did actually turn around. He was like, you know what? You're right, Rey. I'm coming back. And then he sees her like sort of like force talking with Kylo, and it just throws it all up in the air. I was like, oh, you were so close. You were so close to getting Luke Skywalker to go fight the fucking First Order.
Right.
And he would have whipped everyone's ass. Like, that's all I ever wanted to see.
Yep. He would have done exactly what he asked her if that's what she wanted.
Yeah.
He would have shown up and taken down the whole First Order swinging around his laser sword.
Oh, it would have been so dope. So goddamn dope. Yeah, so that was Luke Skywalker. So what was your next one?
So then, I already talked about it, but like I actually am starting to like the character of Rose. It just, like I said, I think it's the separation. It's been a couple of years since I've watched this. She's there again. It's the problem of they were trying to force her on and trying to just make her, one of the gang right out the bat. And it just, that initially fell flat for me. But once I got past that, and again, her crashing scene, like, I really do like her, and I wish they would have done more with her in The Rise of Skywalker.
Right. It was like a total shift of character. Like, it's so, I think that's the greatest, of course, everyone says this, it's the greatest fault of the sequel trilogy. You may not agree with direction, but the fact that it was two creators sort of reneging each other's ideas, that was the biggest flaw of all of this. Yeah. The fact that there wasn't a unified scene of what they wanted to do. So Chris says, as far as good things in the movie, he thought the premise of the Empire chasing the rebels through hyperspace with the rebels slowly running out of shield and fuel was cool. Yeah, I always thought of it differently. Like, I played all of the X-Wing versus TIE Fighter video games and stuff. And so the idea of running out of fuel was just not a thing. Of course they have to refuel, like, of course, it makes perfect sense, but the idea of doing like this super drawn out slow space chase just doesn't feel right to me.
Well, and it doesn't really make sense because, like, they're in space, so unless something stops them, like a gravity well or a planetary body, they're just going to keep going at the same rate until something intervenes. So
yeah, an object in motion will continue to stay in motion. It's physics 101.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. And again, I understand that we do have to get rid of a little bit of logic and science in order to buy into fantasy movies. But that honestly, that's still one thing that I have kind of a problem with. Like when the ship runs out of fuel and it starts just falling. It's like, why would it do that?
Yeah, there's no gravity of a planetary body near it. Yeah, that was very, very strange. It just immediately tilted. Like, that's a gravity issue. That doesn't happen in space. Like, nothing like that happens ever, ever, ever.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, too, it'd be an easy correction where all they have to do is like a split-second scene on the destroyer being like, ignite the tractor beam, and that's it, because we already know that technology exists from the first fucking movie. So that's something I'm still having a hard time with.
Yeah, I mean, like, all of my little complaints and gripes, however shallow or I see as valid, could all be fixed with the writing easily.
Yeah, definitely.
And so it is like, an issue
even the Canto Bite scene, which, like, I don't think I got any notes about the Canto Bite scene. I'm gonna assume that you don't have. Oh, you got some. Okay, I'm really fucking excited to hear that then. But
Don't care. I hope so.
hey,
It's
you
small.
got something good to say about it, so I'm excited. 'Cause I got nothing, and I was trying.
Yeah.
Like even the score, I couldn't be excited about because it's
really?
just like that's Jurassic Park.
That's true. That's
John
very
Williams.
true.
Why are you ripping off John Williams?
Very true. He went to
But
the
then
bag.
again, if you're gonna rip somebody off, rip off the master, right?
I mean, it's John Williams. What are you gonna do?
Exactly.
You know, he's brilliant.
Shit, I don't remember what I was saying. Whatever, we can go on.
Well, yeah, my next one you already had mentioned is Snoke's ship, and so I'll just jump to my next R2D2. Like seeing R2D2 wake up to Luke Skywalker sort of exploring the Millennium Falcon on Octu. And then Luke's like, look, I'm not coming back. I don't care what you say. And he plays that first hologram of Princess Leia from episode 4. And I was just like, oh.
Dude, that gets me. Yeah, every fucking time, dude.
And it was the extended version of it too. Like the entire thing. You know, you fought with my father in the Clone Wars. And like, I was just like, oh, fuck. Like, that's what I want so bad. Like, if anything is going to turn the corner, if anyone's going to save the galaxy, it's going to be R2. Period. Yeah. He's the one.
Plain and simple.
He's the best.
Pre-Disney, he was the hero
100%.
of the entire galaxy.
100%.
Second was Luke Skywalker.
Yeah. Yeah, and of course, they're best buddies. Two heroes going through the galaxy fixing problems. Like, that's it. Oh, gosh, that's the best. I love R2 so much. Just, I mean, just seeing his, the form, you know, and of all weird, it's just a dome. It's a rectangle and a circle on top of it. That's all it is. But for
it's a fucking trash can with legs.
Yeah. But for some reason, just seeing R2D2, it's just makes me feel good. It's so insane how these images imprint on you as a human being, you know, from your youth to your adulthood. And they continue to resonate. You know, we do it with food, we do it with music, we do it with visuals. It just, for some reason, connects and maintains that connection deeply to your very core. And R2D2 is one of them for me.
Yeah, brilliant. Definitely.
All right, what's your next one, man?
So since we're going down the list, the whole, like, when Snoke was interrogating Rey and stuff, I love that shit. When she goes for the lightsaber, it overshoots and then comes back and smacks her in the back of the head. Love that. It's like, that's what you do to a child that's misbehaving. you don't scold them. You just let them hurt themselves with a little bit of intervention.
Kill me. You kill me. Yeah, this time especially, I was like, all right, cue the Benny Hill. Like, it's just so over the top and silly. Why are you even, like, I don't get it. He's going from, like, I will destroy Skywalker, and he's, like, lifting her up and stuff, and then all of a sudden it's like, whoop, 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 whoop. Yeah. Like, what the fuck? Where's the tone? The consistency in tone. Okay, I'm not going to complain. That's what we like. Okay, that's okay.
So, hey, you know what? You got Canto Bite shit to say, so...
Yeah,
I think we're
I
even.
got some other things. So the Canto Bite stuff, I only have 2 notes.
Okay.
And I'll just sort of tie them together. Both of them are pretty quick here. And one of them is not even really Star Wars related at all. But the little drunk alien that puts the coins in BB-8.
Yeah, the leprechaun.
He's amazing!
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I want to be that character for a day. Like, he is amazing. And then when those animal creatures, like, bust through and, like, all the coins get out and he's, like, all, wah! Like, getting all excited and, like, pocketing all the I love that alien creature. Oh my gosh, he's the best. He reminds me of what's the name of that the little alien in the Rise of Skywalker that fixes C-3PO?
Babu Frick.
Babu Frick. It kind of reminds me of like a grown-up old Babu Frick. It's not the same species or anything. It's whatever associations I have in my head. But I just love that little character in the Canto Bite sequence. It's the only character in the entire sequence that really connected with me for some reason. Loved him.
No, I agree completely.
This is going to be a little bit of revealing here, people. Benicio del Toro. I don't like DJ, but I love Benicio del Toro.
That's, again, it's one of those things where it's like, I'm not mad at you. I'm just disappointed in you, Rise of Skywalker. Like, he is an amazing actor. Yeah. I love him in almost every I've ever seen him in.
I was getting some serious now I can't remember the Las Vegas Fear and Loathing vibes. Every time I see him, that's my associations. The first time I see Benicio del Toro, it's him getting, dropping acid with Johnny Depp. Like that is in my head. That is what Benicio del Toro is. So everything he's ever done, which is a lot, and he's great as an actor, it's always colored with that memory. The Adam coming out of high school, doing a bunch of drugs myself, and really personally connecting with their experiences. And the fact that we just got over some craziness of our own, and me just sort of revisiting him in this film, it just reconnected, and some of the mannerisms that he gives off, and just, I love him as an actor. I think he's brilliant. He didn't detract from the film, but he definitely added his own flair to it. And again, I don't really like the DJ character, but I like the concepts that the DJ character shared as well as just the actor himself. Like that brilliant idea of, look, there is no good or bad. Like, and this is, something that you and I and some of our audience connect with as well. It's all what you like, what you don't like, and how you act and how you perceive others acting. It's all perception. So like those people that you're hating are selling weapons to the rebellion as well as the First Order. They're doing it to make money. You can't say that they're bad because they're helping your side as well.
Exactly.
That idea of moral ambiguity, which is the reality of life, I like seeing in a Star Wars story where it's traditionally that sort of Joseph Campbell. There is a good and there is a bad. And George Lucas was very, very firm that there is a good side and a bad side, and you have to be on the good side. This is a moral tale of being a good child. That's what all of Star Wars is meant to be. And so this throws a huge wrench in it, but it's a wrench that I appreciated.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I still don't get the character direction.
It was weird.
And the fact that the stuttering was a choice on his end, it's like, man, that's from my understanding, that was his. He was like, I'm going to do that, and they were just kind of like, okay, So,
Chris, I see your comment there. I want to put a pin in that because we're going to talk about that at the end, and we've lightly dusted on it already, but we'll get back to that in a second just to let you know. What was your next one?
All right, so the Praetorian Fight, fantastic. Like that's just straight up. Really?
You
don't like it?
No.
It's a fucking.
If you're doing like a frame by frame, there's some Praetorians that just get to a pose because it's all choreographed. They get to a pose and they just wait. And then they act.
It's a goddamn kung fu movie, Adam. That's how you do it. You don't fight all at once like you would in real life. It's an orderly thing. Like that's the shit I grew up on was fucking kung fu movies. So that I accept it wholly. Now, of course, when you see real fights like with Daredevil, like you just kind of end up like kind of chafing because you're rubbing a little too much.
So good.
But like
that makes it feel better though.
It does.
It's effort feel good.
But yeah, no, I love the Praetorian Fight. Again, it's one of those things that if I had unlimited resources and time, I would build one of those costumes in a heartbeat. Like I fucking love it.
I did love moments of that fight. When Rey throws the Skywalker lightsaber and he's just like, that was great.
Yeah, one of the best executions ever.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I never really saw it in terms of like a kung fu fight either. But it did immediately, like when you said that, remind me of True Romance. I don't know if you remember that film. It's like you want to go get some, go watch some kung fu and get some pie. Like
hell yeah.
Yes, please. That sounds amazing. I would love to. It's a good time.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, my next one was Yoda's advice. I didn't like Yoda showing up and being like the stupid Yoda joke that he was playing on Luke Skywalker in Empire to like test him because he immediately dropped that act after that one scene. And suddenly, for some reason, now he's just always that bumbling idiot of Yoda. But what I did like was the advice that he imparted. And he was like, look, as much as it's important to share successes and how to do things right, you have to share the idea of failure, and that is not a bad thing. Failure is important, and it's something that we will all forever suffer from. And you can't look at it as this devastating stop to your progress as an, I'm extrapolating here, progress as an individual. You have to learn from those failures and embrace them and move on and try your best not to repeat them. Like, that is such valuable information. For sports fans, you might have gotten this from Michael Jordan in some of his early interviews, talking about, look, I've failed more than I've succeeded. Everyone talks about how great I am as a basketball player. But the truth is I've failed a lot. And you have to go through those failures in order to truly, truly do anything of substance or significance in life. And, the fact that a Jedi master like Luke Skywalker would still have to learn that lesson, I think, is a realistic thing, because he's a human, he's human experience. But that there's someone that has to impart that to him is also, who else? I mean, it's either Obi-Wan or it's Yoda, and I don't care which one. I just like that someone shared it.
Yeah.
So I really like that a lot.
Yeah, and I was a big fan of the Yoda stuff. I don't care. Like, I wholly accept that he's going to be the bumbling goofball because he's fucking dead. Like, he went from being an ancient being to being an immortal being. I mean, the motherfucker had a sense of humor to begin with.
Yeah.
And now all seriousness is off the table. Like, he understands that nothing really matters. So, of course, he's going to fuck around. And, I mean, fucking with Luke is great. Like, him snapping his fingers, or, well, bringing the finger down and burning the temple. Yeah.
Wait, he fingered Luke? What?
Yeah, he fingered Luke, and it made the temple burst into flames. I mean, you never just... This is a practical bit of advice for everybody. We're going to step aside from the movie for a second. If somebody has a blowtorch in their hand, do not finger them. Period. You're going to burn something.
It's good advice. Good, solid advice.
Brought to you by your friends at the Infernal Brotherhood of the Scruffy Looking Nerf Herders.
All right.
But
so
the end of that, when to continue with his lesson.
Jeez.
Like the very end where he's like, that's the burden of being the master, is having to understand that they are going to get better than you, and that is your goal. That is your purpose. Like, I mean, I'm getting goosebumps even just butchering that little bit of line that he said, because I mean, that's heavy. I mean, as somebody who has had apprentices before, like, that really is the goal. It's like, you don't want them to be good. You want them to be better than you. Like, I imagine that being a lot like how it is to be a parent, but
for sure,
I don't know. I don't have experience with that. So I really appreciated that.
Yeah, I have this distinct memory of my wife primarily, but also me teaching my son how to play chess and him whipping my ass. Mm-hmm. And as soon as I got over the ego bruise, I was like, that's my boy.
Hell yeah.
That's my boy. He learned the lessons, and he's better than me at strategy and thinking in those strategic terms. And I can't be angry because it's my boy, and I'm proud of him. I'm proud that he beat me, even though it did piss me off. But still, now
that's when he just spit in his cereal.
Yeah,
it's cool.
I just need to make sure that my wife's not listening to this, because I feel like she's gonna try to get some dynamite or something the next time I'm like, hey baby, you wanna fool around or something? She's like, I would, but I got an open flame. I can't. It'll burn you. I just know she'll.
I mean, again, practical advice.
Yeah. Life lessons, people. This is what Yoda should be talking about. Do you have any more? What's your next one?
So
I only have one more.
So I got two more.
Okay.
One, again, Porgs are the greatest.
Shauna's listening. Damn it.
Damn it. Okay, Shauna, just earmuffs or something, but a few minutes ago. Mm-hmm. So the last thing, and I will say that this isn't me being funny. This is me legit being like, I fucking love this aspect of it. The scene where Kylo is losing his shit, trying to blow up his uncle, and is just screaming, more! The memes that have come from that, just
really?
Fucking gold. Yeah, because it's stupid.
I'm not in social media at all, so I don't see anything.
You're smart. You're a reasonable individual that wants to have an actual life and proper existence. I, however, have to keep a social media presence for my job. Right. And of course, because I have it, I look at stupid shit. And yeah, just like the memes of Kylo screaming more, but it being different things. It's funny.
Oh, we got to do some of those with British Baking Show. Yeah. That'd be great. More, longer, more, hit harder. And it's just like a broken globe, and you're like, oh. That one, I still remember that one episode with that stupid globe and it crushing. And I was just like, oh. Just
dude,
devastating feeling.
It's seriously, anytime like that show, you just throw a lump of coal in my ass, I'm shitting out a diamond at the end. Every fucking episode.
I need some diamonds. Let's experiment. So my last one is Luke. This is picking up with Chris's last comment. Luke arriving before we learned that it was fake, and having that beautiful moment with Leia.
Dude, just me every fucking time, man.
Especially now that we know that was Carrie Fisher's last scene in Star Wars. And just how serious she was taking it because she's a fucking professional, and like him just holding her face and like kissing her forehead. It's like this brother and sister separated because of fear and loss and pain, and just finally it was so goddamn beautiful, only to be ripped out at the. But like until that happened, it was just the best. And then him walking out. And Finn was just like, we have to go help him. He's going to die. And Poe was like, wait, he's doing this for a reason. We need to, let's get out of here. Like this is, there, you know, there's a reason for this. It was just the best goddamn ending.
It really, that should have been it. Like,
so beautiful.
Yeah, it was perfect. Like I tear up every goddamn time that happens. 'Cause you can't not. Like, it's just, the emotion is so strong. The acting is so perfect. Words don't even need to be said. And you understand everything that's going on between them. Because not only do they have the connection of being brother and sister, they have that sacred bond of being not only force sensitive, but twins.
Yeah.
Like, that's a whole other level of communication. They don't even have to speak, that connection they have. It's fucking beautiful.
Ugh. And then watching that documentary of the making of and like re-seeing that scene from a behind-the-scenes lens devastated me. I was just a puddle of tears watching fucking Carrie Fisher do her goddamn beautiful job. It's just, fuck, I love it so much. It was so good. And that alone is why I bought the film rather than just streaming it or, you know, watching it some other way.
Yeah,
because I had to have that documentary because I knew it was in the package of buying it digitally, and it was Carrie Fisher's last performance, and I wanted to have that moment as like I want to own that, you know. I want to be a part of that. Just Luke and Leia together after so long, you know. It was the promise of the last film that. Yeah. They were supposed to be together in that, and then they pushed it off at the last minute for this weird narrative choice, and now we finally get it, and we realize at the end again it's fucking all a lie, but it was still a beautiful moment.
It was. Well, and it wasn't a lie though. That's the thing. Like, just because it was a force projection doesn't mean that it wasn't real. Like, those were really, like, that's really how he felt. That's really how she felt. Just because his physical body wasn't there. Doesn't mean that it was bullshit.
You're right.
His death was
in
bullshit.
My head. Yeah.
His death was definitely bullshit. But like everything leading up to that wasn't.
It's really frustrating to me, and I've gone through my list. Do you still have one more?
No, that was it.
Just as sort of like a closing thought from my side of it is, it's fucking Luke Skywalker. If Snoke could connect, which we know was reneged in the next film, but if Snoke could connect the essences of Kylo Ren with Rey, then fucking Luke could project himself across the goddamn galaxy. Like, if anyone could do it, it'd be Luke or the Emperor. Like, those are the only two that could do it. And for that to be the reason why he died in the second film in a trilogy, not as like a final beautiful moment, but in the second film, is just like a big middle finger. Oh, it was so aggravating when I saw it. I was just like, I want to feel this sense of beauty and meaning that so many other wonderful fans took away from it, where they saw the twin suns and him staring off in the distance and then just fading away. I wanted to feel the connection that a lot of other people felt, but it was just rage is all I felt in it. I was just like, I'm not happy with how this ended. This is not how it should have gone down. Like, of course he has to die. But I've lived 40 years of expanded universe development of this character, and then suddenly you're just going to buy the IP and fuck him off?
Mm-hmm.
Come on.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
It was so emotionally and I relive it every time, and that's why I have such a hard time appreciating this film. And, you know, from a filmmaker's perspective, taking it out of Star Wars context, I still don't think the writing is particularly good at all. But there are moments that I can genuinely appreciate, like, okay, well, this is a piece of film that someone genuinely cared to create. It's not like they were trying to upset a fan base. They weren't trying to piss anyone off. They wanted to tell their version of a story. And I can respect that. And I can appreciate that. It's just, for me, there's only a handful of things that I can pull out of this and go like, you know what, this is what I can take positively from this. And so that's all I got.
Yeah, I honestly thought my list was going to be bigger, to be 100% transparent, but it wasn't. And that's the thing, is like, this movie is so fucking long, but there's not a lot of substance to it.
Yeah,
it's a lot of really pretty shots and then
for sure.
mediocre at best story.
Yeah,
and I don't get it, because there's people that can take a standard feature length movie and put just so much story into it, so much backstory, and it doesn't feel rushed. It doesn't feel confined. It feels like a story. And with this, you have literally unlimited funds. Like, you basically have more money than God to make a movie. Any resource you need, it's there. All you have to do is write something good. And then this happened.
Yeah.
I don't understand. And I know there's behind the scenes shit, like Kathleen Kennedy. We all don't like her because she puts her finger into way too much shit. But like, how much of it can be blamed on a producer, and how much of it is, you know, Rian Johnson just shitting the bed?
Yeah, I mean, I have to look at it like this, where everyone sort of shits on Disney, you know, for doing this, but it was Lucasfilm that created this property.
Yeah.
It wasn't Disney. And then you think about the role of a producer in the actual making of a film. It's not as involved as you think it is, you know, as we collectively think it is. I honestly don't think that Kathleen Kennedy had much more to do with this than saying, Rian Johnson, I want you to create this next one. And then he just did his thing because he was given the opportunity to do his thing. Good, bad, indifferent, he did his thing. And you kind of, you know, you have to respect someone being given the reins to the Star Wars kingdom and doing their thing with it. It may not resonate with everyone, but it clearly resonated with a significant proportion of the people who watched it, because it made over $1 billion for Disney, ultimately. I don't agree with it, but it is a success by every measure, you know, as far as a corporation is concerned, a money-making venture is concerned. I don't understand the hate for Kathleen Kennedy personally, because she's produced some of the most beloved films of all time, including Raiders of the Lost Ark, including E.T.
That's the thing. I understand, like, she's been,
I mean, Jurassic Park,
LFL for fucking pretty much the inception. So I'll respect her for that. My problem with Kathleen Kennedy is the stupid shit she says about Star Wars, just to make it I guess, political thing. Like, that's the shit that I don't like.
Yeah.
Oh, the Force is a girl. No, the Force is an asexual fucking entity. Like, there's no gender. It's existence, you stupid cunt.
Well, that, and it's not like Star Wars has a backlog of stories to draw from. Like, it has 40 years of stories to draw from, woman.
That's the fucking thing that gets me. Is she's said almost the exact same amount of time that, oh, well, that's why Marvel works, because we have that. Bitch, I'm looking at my fucking bookcase. That's not even half of what has been written before the Disney takeover.
Yeah.
I have a stack of comics up to here. Well, you can't see my hand, but I got a stack of comics sitting almost as tall as me.
Yeah.
That's not even a quarter of all the Star Wars comics that have ever been released. You're telling me there wasn't something you could pull from? Fuck off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that there is like those are fair arguments for sure. Just her talking out of her ass. Ultimately, you know, Disney's done some great things. I really enjoyed Solo. I know you enjoyed it as well. I love Rogue One.
Yeah, Rogue One's a perfect film.
A goddamn perfect war story, and it is forever going to be the shining star in the Disney Star Wars era for me. So far. But you know, I really enjoy Mandalorian, and you know, that's also, you know, a Lucasfilm and Disney property, so, and overseen by Kathleen Kennedy. So it's not like it's all horrible. It's just, you know, we have to, because we're being inundated, and this is just my take, with so much Star Wars stuff all at once compared to what we had before of just 2 trilogies in 40 years, that we, you know, we can be much more picky and anal retentive as fans, you know, and that's, I think, why you and I have decided to try to do these what we like series of podcast episodes, because it's not all bad, and we do want to see more Star Wars. I mean, the fact is we love this IP. It's something that we grew up with, and it means something slightly different, maybe, or maybe exactly the same to each other, that it does to every other fan out there who loves this IP. And you may not agree with some storytelling decisions, but that's never the case because we didn't make the film. So as long as we go into it knowing that there's an opportunity of us to not enjoying it, but it is still Star Wars and we're crack addicts for it, so we're still going to buy it. Let's just try to find something good about it and try to move, you know, forward positively rather than just being another voice in the endless sea of bitching and moaning and complaining.
Beautifully put.
I don't know about beautiful, but so bitch, I'm looking at my bookcase should be the title of this channel episode.
Not gonna argue. Not gonna argue.
Oh, that's great. All right. Anything else you want to talk about with the Last Jedi?
No.
Oh, we've been going over an hour. Wow.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we pretty much got it. And the thing is, it's like I so desperately want to like this movie more than I do. And I try every time I watch it. It's not because I want to be one of those douchebag fanboys. It's like, this isn't what I grew up with. Because I don't give a shit. Like that, what I grew up with will always be there. Like the books. I always bitch about Disney's new canon. They didn't take these books away from me. At any point in time, I can start reading them over again. And I'll appreciate them just as much. Nothing's to be taken away. But with this one, I just struggle. It's at some point, I hope I'll be able to appreciate it like I do Caravan of Courage or Battle Friend, or in an ironic sense. Like I can watch those and just laugh at how
or the droids cartoon.
Yeah, cartoons are different. I can always just appreciate cartoons because they're fucking cartoons.
Yeah.
But yeah, I hope to be there someday.
Yeah. I don't know that I ever will, to be honest. I struggle with this one, and I really, really struggle with the next one as well, because it was the nail in the coffin. It was like the final one, you know what I mean? And there's a lot more about the next one that I love, to be fair, than this one. But
yeah, I like the next one.
Yeah. So that'll be fun. So that you have that to look forward to, audience. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. There is some HoloNet news. There's some new Jedi books being released recently. Jedi Survivor, the sequel to Jedi Fallen Order, the video game, that has the art of book coming out and a novel that's sort of leading into the story that's going to be released. And I think it's next year that it's coming out. So expect a full playthrough and everything on the channel. Hopefully, if I have time, because that'll be dope. Also, there's just a new Han and Leia wedding, The Princess and the Scoundrel book that came out that I have yet to read, but I'm hearing good things about.
In my queue, and it's a heavy order to follow up because the wedding of Princess Leia, or whatever, I can't remember what the hell it's called, but the original wedding book in old canon, fucking amazing.
Oof.
Yeah, so
You
it's
can
a
imagine
heavy
that.
order to hold up to.
We also have this Star Wars Summer Vacation, Lego Star Wars Summer Vacation episode, which I watched, and
I still haven't watched
I
it.
like the Halloween one more, personally. And the
Well, I
Life
mean,
Day
it's
one's
Halloween,
awesome.
of course.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it's an unfair comparison for sure. It's Halloween. But even the Life Day one was great. And then, of course, the new Andor trailer came out recently, and that new series is coming out, which looks to be pretty amazing. So you can expect
Hell yeah.
episode reviews as they're released on this channel as well. So we have a lot of Star Wars stuff still coming out this year, a lot to look forward to. Again, because I think Andor's starting in September, you're not going to see a monthly episode then, and that's going to be carrying through until the end of the year with Bad Batch and a bunch of other Star Wars shows. I don't know when we're going to get to the Rise of Skywalker, what we like about sort of episode, but it is on the horizon. It is coming, and as long as you guys keep tuning in, we will keep making these. We've been doing it for 5 years so far,
Which is a fucking trip.
which is amazing. We had actually planned on doing this whole what is that called? We're gonna try to go to a kid's hospital or something, and instead we just took a bunch of drugs and went to the desert looking for aliens.
As you
Choices.
Do. It's like, hey, we could do something good for a charity, but how? Let's get fucked up and find aliens instead.
I didn't get probed once, so I'm a little disappointed.
Yeah, whatever.
Just saying, Skywalker Ranch is not what it's promised to be.
No.
Skywalker. I mean,
Skinwalker
Ranch
Hopefully,
is not.
Skywalker Ranch will probe
It
us.
better be.
Like,
Dude, I want
fingers
George
crossed
Lucas
on that one.
Yeah. I'm wearing an American Graffiti t-shirt while he's doing it.
Hell yeah.
I need to live that life. That's the best life for me. All right. Thank you guys so much for tuning in live or after the fact. I really do genuinely appreciated it. That's it. Anything else? Any closing thoughts?
I love the porgs.
All right. Until the next time, until the Infernal Brotherhood convene again, my fellow scruffy looking Nerf Herders, may the Force be with you.
Porgs really are the best.
Disagree.